come into play late. I think that was the case of course, the 3 days rest and playing in the Amazon. Just overall, though, the quality of the game didn't dictate itself to anything. If the United States scored a goal, that would have been an accomplishment in itself, and they didn't really look a threat for most of the game.
Right, and I give the U.S. a lot of credit in the first half, especially. Germany was possessing the ball, I think, at
first 20 minutes, yeah.
80% or so, but keeping them out of the back of the net there for that first half really set the tone for the second, because if you're down 1-2 nothing at halftime, then the threat of Germany breaking it open becomes real, especially when you look at the other game and it's 1-1. You might be a little more inclined to open it up, and then it could have really gotten ugly. But you mentioned the Muller goal. I mean, just an absolute wonder strike. Really, any team in the world would have had trouble stopping that one. So all in all, a good performance by the U.S. They did what they had to do. It wasn't pretty, but why take the chances when you don't have to? And they get the advancement, which is all they need.
It was scoreless at the half. Got to give a little credit to Omar Gonzalez, because you don't know what you're going to get playing your third game and bringing this guy in. We talked about his crisis of confidence maybe leading up into the World Cup. He came on as a sub against Portugal. 2 big tackles inside the penalty area in that first 20 minutes. Everyone talking about weathering the storm. He's a big reason for that, and you got to give credit where credit is due with his play. Then they make the switch they flopped Brad Davis, who was struggling off on that left-hand side, boom to the right, bring Graham Zusi over. So a little tactical adjustments by Jurgen Klinsmann kind of kept things at bay to see it 0-0 through the first half.
Of course, and Gonzalez even, I believe just after halftime, he had that big crucial clearance on a header when he got back in recovery. So another example, we've been saying it this whole tournament, MLS stepping up, playing well, really representing this league and this country as a whole brilliantly, and that continues today.
Jermaine Jones, very advanced in his role today, probably more forward than we've seen him all tournament long, and Michael Bradley still has a bit of the struggles, just possessing, holding. You could even argue the help on the clearance that led to the goal. What's up with that USA midfield? There's a conundrum going into the knockout rounds against assumedly Belgium.
Yeah, difficult to say, but you're right. You made the point to me when we were just watching the game there. Jermaine Jones is making these runs. He's playing so high, but the thing is, he's been effective doing it, right? You think of Jermaine Jones mainly as a defensive midfielder, a holding midfielder known for his physicality, but throughout these 3 matches, he's been great on the ball. He's been great getting forward. I don't know if it's to the point where you consider making a lineup change and removing Michael Bradley, but I think you have to be thrilled with the revelation that has been Jermaine Jones really picking up the slack for Bradley offensively.
Leaders thinking that the United States wouldn't survive this so-called group of death. Germany wins the group with 7 points. The United States with 4, and that's good enough. And even though Portugal has the victory to 4, their goal differential, well, it was too much to overcome in the end after they took the throttling from Germany in the first game. All right, moving ahead, the United States, for back-to-back World Cups for the first time ever, goes to the knockout rounds. And if we're making 2002 comparisons, Ryan, why not start there? Because the last time that happened, they made their deepest run in the modern era, off to the quarterfinals after beating Mexico. Now, with the exception of maybe something miraculous happening in that Algeria-Russia game, it looks like it's going to be Belgium.
Yep.
The Belgians, a lot of dark horses, a lot of dark horse picks for them to make a long run here in this tournament. They're young, not a lot of tournament experience, but so talented. We saw them get it together late in both of their games against Russia and Algeria preceding. And now, after that friendly in Cleveland back in May, where Belgium handled the United States pretty good, it's setting up for another matchup and another test of against an elite attack. If you look at Fellaini and Hazard and great goalkeeping and Courtois and company, there's a lot of household names if you follow the Premier League or European football on a regular basis.
Yeah, a couple things stand out about Belgium. Of course, you mentioned the youth. It's really their first experience, this group on this stage. We don't know how that'll play in, but the defense for Belgium actually does have some experience. You said the one name Company, the other they've been starting Daniel Van Buiten, a veteran from Bayern Munich. So from that standpoint, you can expect them to be responsible at the very least if you're going to make the youth argument. Now, the attack is where all the youth comes in. Hazard, of course, being the feature name there, but really I think it should be a fantastic matchup because Belgium is exciting. That youth, that talent makes them exciting.
Gonna have to go play.
Exactly. It's not going to be a match, I'll make the comparison to a team like Greece that likes to play that, slow them down, counterattack, whatever. Belgium is the opposite. They want to play, they want to attack. It should be very exciting. And the road for the U.S. after Belgium, if you want to look ahead, potentially Argentina, and then potentially the Netherlands in the semifinal. It's all exciting attacking teams. So the U.S. could have some very entertaining soccer ahead of it should it keep winning.
Yeah, the United States, Belgium, and then you would likely see Argentina, who's playing Switzerland, although you never know the way this World Cup has gone. So, I want to thank our friends here at Fadó Easton Town Center, but for the knockout rounds, official viewing parties here on thecrew.com, and on the way forward will be at Columbus Crew Stadium. We know the United States will play Tuesday, July 1st in Salvador, and we'll have more information for you on thecrew.com. Also keep in mind, MLS play resumes. The U.S. Open Cup, the Crew knocked out last night 4-2 to the Chicago Fire in extra time. They'll be back in action, though, against FC Dallas, Red, White, and Crew. Great fireworks, 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Fun to get MLS back on the fold.
No question.
Started last night with a dud.
Yeah, well, I made the point in my reaction piece for thecrew.com. The Crew did well in the second half, really, to battle back given the circumstances, given the lineup restrictions. But
speaking of the Vancouver-Montreal game, the Crew game was quite exciting.
It was. You mentioned 4-2. And looking ahead to Saturday, based on Will Trapp coming off the bench in the second half, he looks like he's a go.